Hello, hi. Welcome back to our Kubernetes series. Today we will be discussing on Kubernetes architecture. I will be covering what exactly the Kubernetes architecture was and the Kubernetes cluster overview and the components like control plane and associated components and worker node and its associated components, how everything together works in a Kubernetes architecture. A kind of entire flow I will be discussing in this particular video. So without further ado, let's enter into the video. So here you can see the architecture diagram of Kubernetes on an high level. This is a Kubernetes cluster, and inside that there is a control plane and worker node is there. Within the control plane, there is a four components: API server, scheduler, etcd, controller manager. And within the worker node, there is a pod, and also the kubelet and kube-proxy and container runtime are there. So we'll be seeing on an high level. In upcoming series, we'll be seeing in depth about the control plane, in depth about the worker node as well. On an high level architecture overview, today we'll be covering. Now let us understand what exactly the architecture was. Basically, the architecture is going to give a kind of idea or a blueprint of the Kubernetes, how exactly it was organized. So it is going to define each and every component and how they are communicate to each other in the real world. And also it provides a kind of a full application lifecycle, end to end, how it is going to work, starting from deploying, scaling, self-healing, monitoring containers automatically. And also, we'll be splitting it into a two layers where each with a specific well-defined responsibilities. One was control plane and another was worker node. Control plane is like a master or a brain of the Kubernetes, and the worker node is like a execution layer where the target workload is executed. Here on the right hand side, you can see the analogy how it is going to work. The control plane is going to decide what to run, where to run, and when to run or when to restart everything through the API server, scheduler, etcd. These are another components. I will be discussing more about that. And on a high level, the control plane is give the instructions to the worker node, and the worker node will receive those instructions and runs those instructions. Let's say that need to run a container or provide a health check report of the container. Then that will be served by this. Within this, these are the components. So on a high level, this is the overview of the Kubernetes architecture. Now let us see what exactly is the Kubernetes cluster. Okay. So within the Kubernetes, I said there is a cluster, right? So this is the part exactly we are talking. Basically, cluster is the group of missions that work together as a single unified system. And here within that, there is a node. Node is basically a one mission, we can say, or one physical mission or virtual server. And then the master node, worker node, this is the one, and the master node, this is the one. Master node is basically which runs the control plane, and it is going to decide and manage each and everything. It is like brain, as I said. And the worker nodes, those are nodes actual running the workloads. Let's say if you wanted to up your container or spin up your container, at the end, who does that? The worker nodes are the one who does that. And all communicates, I mean, all communication goes through the API server. API server is the one of the component within the master node, and this is the single source of truth, we can say, and it is going to communicate with each and every component within the master plane as well as the worker node also, control plane and worker node both. So this is the concept of what we can say cluster, Kubernetes cluster overview. Now let us see a overview on control plane. As I said, control plane is like a master, I mean, is a master node where it is going to take a decision or decision making layer within the Kubernetes, we can say. So it manages entire cluster from one place itself. So what exactly that manages includes was, first thing, it is going to makes a global decisions. That means it is going to decide what to run, where to run, and when to run or restart the containers. And the another thing was it manages the cluster state also. So it always knows what exactly is running within that particular container and what should be running. Desired state and actual state is also maintained by that only. Okay. And the next thing it looks over was it handles the scheduling also. So it is going to assign the containers to the best available worker node, and it also maintains the desired state. Sometimes, if something breaks or something goes wrong, then it automatically fixes it. So this is the entire decision making layer that is called the control plane. So in the right hand side, you can see what are the components on a high level, a smaller definition, API server, where it is a single point entry for all the requests. And then scheduler, it places the pods to the right node. And then controller manager, where it is going to watch as well as maintain the desired state. And etc. It is the cluster database, we can say. It shows the key value pairs of the configurations, everything. Okay. Now let us see the control plane components. So here, first component was API server. API server is like a front door to your cluster where each and every request from the kubectl or from the UI or any of the tool you are using that comes here first to the API server, and API server is going to validate and process all the API calls. And then the second component was scheduler. Scheduler is going to decide which worker node has the new pod to be run or to be scheduled for. So here it is going to check each and every server or virtual machine resources, especially the CPU, memory, and before it is going to assign a container, it is going to check all these resources and then the scheduler works accordingly. And then the third component was controller manager. Controller manager here, it runs a multiple containers in a one single process. So here that includes the node controller, replication controller is there, job controller is there. So it ensures the desired state is always maintained by the Kubernetes controller manager. And then the fourth component was etcd. Etcd, as I said, it is like a cluster's memory or database. It stores the all configuration data and what exactly the current state and what exactly the secrets. Everything is stored within that. And also, um, if any health status, everything is stored in the etcd component itself. In the right hand side, you can see the control plane overview. Whenever the kubectl command is used, it goes to the API server, then it moves to the scheduler and the etcd and the controller manager, and then it was going to like do the actual job by the worker node. So this is the how a control plane workflow should be there. Okay. Now let us see the worker node. Okay, how exactly the flow of that. So here, worker node is basically the execution layer. So here, worker nodes are where your actual applications runs. Every container, whatever you are spinning up or interacts with, lives within that lives within a pod on a worker node itself. So within the worker node, there is a pods, and within that pods, there is a running applications, containers, databases, whatever it was. Okay, and here these are the what we can say points with respect to the worker nodes. First thing was it hosts a pods. That means a pod is basically a smallest unit within the Kubernetes, and here pods are basically wrapping up one or more container. It is like a wrapper around the container. Okay, and then the second point here was it runs the actual workloads. Your application code or APIs, databases, all runs within these containers only. Okay, and then the third thing was it sends the reports back to the control plane. That means it sends the health status metrics constantly to the controller manager, and that will update to the API server. Okay, so and also one thing was it handles the networking also within the worker node. Basically, the node there is a concept of a kube-proxy. It routes the traffic to the correct nodes, okay, based upon the availability and the resource utilization, okay, and configuration also. And here on an high level, the architecture overview of a worker node, it is like a physical machine or virtual server. So there is a pods, kubelet, container runtime is there, where actual running containers, and the kube proxy that handles the networking. So these are the components of worker node. Now, let us see a worker node components overview, kind of a one-liner definition about the kubelet, container runtime, kube proxy, and pod. Kubelet is basically it is the main agent which was running on each and every worker node. Basically, it receives the pod specifications from the API server, and it ensures that particular container are running correctly as per the desired configuration. And also, it reports the status back to the control plane through the API server. Okay, and API server is the middle layer we can say here. And then the second component was container runtime. Container runtime is basically the software that actually pulls the Docker images and runs that into a containers. So here the Kubernetes uses a CRI, which is container runtime interface. So it works with Docker, Containerd. There are multiple container runtime platforms also. So anything works here. And then the third component was kube-proxy. So kube-proxy is basically, it is going to handle entire network rules as well as how the traffic flows from one service to the uh, another service, or one pod to the another pod communication. And it acts as a local network router for the nodes. And then the fourth component was pod. As I said, pod was the smallest unit within the Kubernetes. So it is basically a wrapper around one or more containers. So the containers is in the same pod, can share the network, can share the storage among the containers. And pods are created, managed, and deleted by the Kubernetes automatically. So that is the greatest feature of Kubernetes. And on a high level, as I showed earlier, these are the overview or workflow of a Kubernetes worker node, how exactly the internals communicate together. Okay, first the API server will receive the request, and then the kubectl commands will come to the worker node, and it runs the uh, actual containers by using a container runtime, and maintains the Kubernetes configuration of networks by using the Kubernetes proxy, I mean kube proxy. And then the pods also, like whatever the containers within that particular pods is run through the kubectl commands only, right? At the end, this is the gateway, I mean gate, entry gate for either the master node as well as the worker node both. Okay, and here is how everything works together. So on a high level, you can see here. First, the user runs as a user runs a kubectl apply command -f, and whatever the YAML file is there, app.yaml. Okay, so in that particular, let's say if you are describing a desired state, let's say you want three replications of your application, then that particular request goes through the API server, and the API server is going to validate that particular request. First, it is going to authenticate and validates the YAML script also, and it stores the intent in the etcd. Etcd is the database basically, and then the scheduler will fix the best worker node. It is going to check the resource of the nodes first. Based upon the resource availability, it picks the best, and it assigns that particular it asks to spin up the container in that particular node. And then the kubelet will runs the pod on that particular node. So running basically, it pulls the image and then spinning up. And now your pod is up and running. Once it is up and running, then the controller manager will monitor each and every time. That means if the pod fails, instantly it creates a replacement. Always it makes sure to match the desired state. That is the what we can say health check status, or self-healing capability of the Kubernetes. So on an end-to-end flow, this is how exactly the these architecture components work together. On the right hand side, you can see the architecture overview of whatever the point I just have discussed here on an diagrammatic representation build. Here is the how the user applies the kubectl apply command, and the HTTP request goes to the API server, and then that goes to the scheduler, and then that goes to the what we can say it spin up the containers within the nodes. That means it goes to the worker nodes, and then the status of the health report is instantly updated to the controller manager. Okay, and then this is how exactly it works on a high level. And you can think of like the control plane on a high level. The control plane is the manager, and the worker is the worker nodes are the workers who does actual work, and the API server is the gateway in between the control manager and the worker node. Okay, and here a smaller kind of one term analysis for all the technical terms, whatever I have discussed in this particular video. One thing was API server, it is the entry point. etcd is the cluster memory or database. Kubelet is the pod runtime. Okay, and then pod is the smallest unit within the Kubernetes, and scheduler where it is going to have a pod placement. It is going to monitor the pod placement or checks the resources, and then manage the placement of the pods. And the controller manager, where it is going to continuously monitor the health check, and self-heal capability is that used by the controller manager only. And kube-proxy is the component within the worker node, where the network configuration, everything is managed by the kube-proxy. And then the finally container runtime, where actually it runs the containers, and your application code base, everything is within these particular containers. So in the upcoming video, we are going to see the control plane components, the deep dive. On a high level, today we have seen the architecture entire overview that includes the control plane as well as the worker node. And I hope so you found certain useful information out of this particular video. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. All the best for your learning.